Herzlich willkommen zu Dragons TV und an meiner Seite ein glücklicher Gewinner von heute, Avery Sullivan. Avery, thanks for being my guest.
Love being here. Thank you for having me on.
Avery, congrats on beating the mighty FC Bayern Munich. Before I talk to you about the game, how quickly did you learn coming to Germany how famous this organization is?
Yeah, I've always just following EuroLeague and stuff. You always hear about FC Bayern, and they're in Munich, which is like a good city, which everybody says. So, yeah, always hearing about them and getting to play them, it's like, wow, like it's the team right under the EuroLeague team.
All right. So, congrats to the win, you guys. If someone had told you before the game that you'd score 100 points as a team, would you have believed them?
I mean, that'd be the goal every game for us, but I would have believed them because, we believe it in the locker room, but, it's good that we went out there and actually did it, though.
Yeah, everything worked really well on the offensive, but which was really good, the defense worked really well. I mean, that's been kind of a sore spot, 92 points, which you guys gave up on average before today. Calvin Omoyola told me that a coach told you before the game, you guys have to be a spider web.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little about what adjustments you made on the defensive end today and what worked better today.
Yeah, with the break we had last week, for the past couple weeks, we really were working on defense these past couple weeks. So, as Kelvin was talking about the spider web, we're trying to say, everybody's connected. If somebody gets beat, we got to have his back, then the next person has to rotate. So, we all got to be five together, not, one-on-one. So, even though, one-on-one defense is not always going to be the best, we got to make sure to have each other's back being in the gaps and having our help side right.
Yeah, you're the double-double monster, but your boy Marco Rosic just yelled over there, Mr. Big Time.
Yeah, Marco, man, that's my guy, man. But a lot of my buckets come off of assists. So my point guards, all my guards, Kelvin, Badu, Marco, and even AP today had 10 assists. So
yeah, amazing. Did you know that he was such a good facilitator?
Yeah, I see it every day in practice.
Okay, so it was just a matter of time.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk a little about your teammate Leon Bulic, what it's like battling him on a day-to-day basis in practice.
Love playing against Leon, love playing with Leon. It's like iron sharpens iron. He's such a good player, I'm a good player, so us going against each other does nothing but push each other and we get better with it.
That's the way it should be. Is this a title team? I mean, you don't want to think too big too soon. I mean, you guys are 7-1. But seriously, the offense is there and it can be there every day. As soon as you guys tighten up the defense, I mean, who's going to stop you?
Yeah, no doubt. You never want to aim too low or aim too high, but every day we come in and grind, and we believe with the stuff we have and the people we have in our group, that a title is not too far out of grasp. It's something we can do, no doubt.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun watching the rest of the journey. Let's go back and talk about your career. You played at Lamar. And when I hear Lamar, I hear Mike James, the top EuroLeague player. I believe he's the most famous player that came out of the school.
No doubt.
Did you hear stories about him? Did he ever come back to visit when you were there?
Yeah, he came back one time my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was cool, just talking to him. This is before he was, really just big in Europe.
Right.
So, it was actually, cool to see that and stuff, so, yeah.
I know, he has a fascinating story because he went NBA, he went to Europe, and then he went to the NBA.
Yeah.
And now he's back in Europe, and he's the best player, one of the best players in the EuroLeague. Does a guy like that from your ex-school inspire you?
Yeah, that's very inspiring, seeing that, Mike James came from the school I played at, and seeing how high he's made it in this game, it just makes you think oh, why can't I do that, And it shows you yeah, he went to the NBA, but it just wasn't for him.
Right.
Because there's great players overseas also.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's seeing him is very inspiring.
Shane Larkin, many years in the NBA, he came over here and is also a top player.
Yeah.
So at Lamar, you had good seasons there, but then you went to Malta. Was it tough finding a job after your 2 years? I think you were 12-8, 9-7, which are pretty solid seasons. I mean, good enough to probably get better jobs overseas, or didn't you have failed representation?
So I went to Cyprus fresh out.
Okay.
And then I ended up getting hurt right before the first game.
Okay, and then you went to Malta.
So I went home and got better, and then ended up going to Malta, so I had somewhere to play and show that I'm back healthy and stuff.
Some guys play 10 years plus and never won a title. You've already won 2 titles. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it was amazing winning them back in Albania. Just seeing how much the city and the club appreciates it. It really just gives you a true meaning of winning.
Mm-hmm. And then last season you played in Cyprus with
Albania.
Was it Albania?
Yeah, Albania last year.
Why do I keep saying Cyprus?
I was in Cyprus when I first came out.
Okay. Then Albania, 16 and 11. I think 13 doubles. What was your coolest experience there, besides winning the cups?
I think it was probably. You talking about on the court?
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably like I say the game winner to send us to win our second cup, because it was a real back and forth game against our rivals, and so then like just ended the game like it was kind of like a scramble offense for us, and then my point guard just drove and ended up dishing it off to me, and I hit a layup with time expiring, and just seeing the fans go crazy and whole team coming on the court, yeah, and it was kind of like at that moment we knew like, oh, we're gonna win the second cup. So like, yeah, that was
awesome.
probably the best experience.
So let's talk a little about your game. You would classify yourself as a modern day big man, even though you still want to develop that three.
Yeah, like, you know, the game is evolving. Like, everybody shoots the three now. But, you know, I'm also, like, can play back to the basket. Yeah. So I feel like I'm very versatile. I can play outside and inside. So I feel like, you know, like, and now it's basketball, like, that's a mold for a lot of teams. Like, having a big that can play inside and outside. When
I ask you who you compare your game to, I love the list because it's a who's a who. Anthony Davis, LaMarcus Aldridge, Carmelo Anthony, Karl Anthony Towns, and even an oldie, David West.
Yeah.
Where did you find his name?
You know, like, when you just talk with a lot of people, like, you have those basketball conversations, it's like, some people it's easy to say, oh, you play like this guy or play like that guy, but, like, I feel like my game is so spread out and versatile. Like, I score in many ways and defend in many ways. Like, it's hard to say one person. And, like, yeah, David West, like, you know, being in Texas, like, growing up watching the Spurs, like, him and Tim Duncan, it's like, wow, you know, so.
So is one of your personal goals, besides maybe winning a title, averaging double-double this season? Or where do you want to land at the end with your stats?
So, I mean, honestly, like, a double-double, like, yeah, it's always the goal, but, like, I'd say rebounding more serious than anything, honestly. Like, scoring always just happens, you know, but I feel like rebounding really shows, like, a sense of toughness and grit and, like, a want to really go get them. Like, I mean, if rebounding is easy, everybody would go average double-digit rebounds, you know?
Right.
So I really take, like, rebounding personally.
Almost the last question. Tyrese Maxey was one of your toughest covers in the NCAA. What memories do you have of that?
Yeah, so we played Kentucky my junior year, and I remember, like, the game, so I think it was, like, 10 minutes into the first half, and the game was tied up at, like, 21-21, and Calipari calls a timeout. Maxey comes out and hits, like, 3 straight threes, like,
crazy.
Just blows the game wide open. Like, yeah, he was like, I knew that at that then point, like, he's going to be a good player in the NBA.
Last question. The sequel to Coming to America was released 2 years ago. Shouldn't they have left it alone?
Yeah, like, to me, I don't ever like when they make like a remake of a classic.
Right.
Because I think the classics, like, you just got to let it be. Like, just go try to make some other movie, you know? Like, they're a classic for a reason.
Right. Even if Eddie Murphy was in the sequel.
Yeah, but it's like Eddie Murphy can't be that guy he was in the first one, you know?
No, I didn't like the sequel either.
Yeah.
So. Avery, it was a pleasure.
I appreciate you having me on, man.
All the best.
Thank you.
And we'll see where the journey will go this season.
No doubt.